In this video, we're going to look at another repetition control statement called do while. Do while sounds similar to our while statement, but it actually executes in a different manner. So our while statement had the while and the condition, which was then evaluated for statements in the block. The condition had to be evaluated to true, and it was evaluated every time, so the first time until false. So as our program control moved through and checked this condition, we would run the statements down in the block, but at the time that it became false, then we didn't enter the block and we didn't continue the code execution. Do whiles are slightly different. We start with the do, we have the code block with the statements inside, and then we have the while with the condition at the end. So the condition still has to be true, but as our program execution comes through, it will do the statements first and then check the condition the second time until false. So the difference is, while you get the check the first time with the while loop, you will always get your statements executing at least once with a do while loop, since the execution happens first and then we check the condition to determine if that's true. If it is, then we'll come back up and we'll do this again until the condition becomes false, but we always get that first time through. Here's an example of the same while loop that we saw in a previous video, where we're creating and initializing a counter, running our while loop while that counter is less than or equal to 10, and printing out the value. So in our do while loop, we still have to create and initialize a counter. We start with do, and then we open our block for the statements. So we're printing out the value of the counter and doing our incrementation step just like we would up in the while block, except our while with the true or false condition is at the very end. And I do want to point out, this is one of the few times that you'll put the semicolon behind the parentheses like this. So in if blocks, regular while statements, properties, and other ways that we write with parentheses, we usually never put a semicolon behind it like that. So this is one of the few times that that is the acceptable syntax, and it will cause an error if it's not there. So when we run this, we can see we get the exact same result, 1 through 10, just written two different ways.